All right. I am having a difficult time getting this video going because, well, first because I can't really make them too long because then they take forever to load. But then also, um, it's hard to see out here. It's so bright, and so the screen kind of fades out. It's
Yeah.
kind of the weirdest thing because of the reflection. But it's working, and we're having a great time. I'm having a great time here with Michelle, with this amazing story that she's telling me. It's like the epitome of the hippie 60s, man, you know? To get a boat and want to sail across the world.
Yeah, yeah. We had a great time. One of the guys, Victor, I believe it was. We had found out that, most boats have what they call CF numbers,
Okay.
and
Kind of like an ID number.
an ID number.
Mm-hmm.
But through the government, you could get undocumented certificate thing,
Oh.
and so he did that.
Uh-huh.
And it was probably ended up that it was a good idea for him because
Hmm.
later on some people tried to board the ship and they couldn't because
Because of that ID number?
right, you have to contact the United States government and ask permission.
Also, like the Coast Guard or somebody like that was trying to get it on? Was it some official?
It was an official, someone in an official capacity in Mexico.
I see. Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, it was the federales.
Esos
Wanted to.
federales, they probably wanted some money, some of those green bills.
They Yeah, well, they put a little pot on the boat.
Oh man!
I know.
And you guys had a lot. A little just didn't quite,
Right.
hit the bill. A little pot was nothing. Oh, you can't arrest us for a little bit of pot.
Well, we got out of it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So.
Oh man, they would do those federales. I mean, Mexico in those days, Mexico was really
Yeah.
crazy.
They
It's not
were.
like that anymore.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
pretty nice now. It's pretty mellow.
Yeah, I've heard stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had adventures. We ended up as far down as Zihuatanejo. It was really a tiny, tiny little place at that time.
On the Pacific.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And we loved it there.
Beautiful,
We ended up
yeah.
staying there for a very long time. Um, Met some fabulous people. In fact, Timothy Leary was living down there,
Really? Good place to
right
live.
on the corner of that bay. He had a house right at the tip.
A smart man.
Yeah, and so it was a very cool time. I mean, the fishermen would go, and
Mm-hmm.
every morning we'd hear langosta, langosta, and we'd get up and there'd be lobster crawling around on the deck. And they were always throwing lobsters up there, or a few parrotfish or what.
Oh man.
Yeah, just different stuff like
Lovely.
that. Yeah, but Zihuatanejo is where I jumped ship as well. I decided I wanted to travel throughout Mexico, and they were already kind of talking about, maybe loading the boat up with pot and bringing it back. And I was
Crazy man.
really
That's
scared
crazy.
to do that.
That's so crazy. You want to spend the next 10 years of your life in a Mexican jail?
Not even.
No
Yeah.
way. Mm-mm.
And so that's how I ended up
Good for you.
being down there for
Smart
a year,
move.
just traveling around.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, that must have been
Beautiful.
so nice.
It was. It was.
It was Mexico in those days because we're talking about when at the 68, 69, early 70s. It was really not as developed as it is now.
No.
It was like a
Yeah.
bunch of dirt roads.
Mhm.
Even the main highway, the
Yeah.
Pan American, was you couldn't find hotels that easily.
No.
There was a lot of street food. It was just, very low.
Oh, the street food was so
key.
good.
Yeah. Very low key Mexico was in those days. Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved
Very
it.
different. It was very nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was in that same area as you were, but much later.
Ah,
I think I
okay.
was in that area back in let's see, we were coming back from Guatemala, heading up to the States, and I decided I wanted to do a road trip coming back. And we took the bus from Guate to the border, and then from the border to Salina Cruz, I think it was.
Oh, I don't know.
It's the town in Mexico on the Pacific where they process their oil. It's a very
Oh.
industrial town. And then north of that, we hit some of those beaches in that area. So I
Yeah.
think I was close to that area. Very beautiful. And the village people around there were just awesome.
Aren't they? Yeah.
Super nice. And I was traveling
Super
with my
nice.
son when he was a little kid.
Uh-huh.
So they were they would see Chris and they were just like, oh, señora, ¿cómo está? And they were really nice to us and
Yeah.
come and sit down, and they would feed us. And where are you going? Well, we're going down to the beach. Oh, that's another walking mile. You have to walk at least 2 hours. I said, okay, we'll walk.
Yeah.
And
They
were
like
just
that.
so sweet. And they would dress in these long gathered skirts.
Yes.
Kind of like gypsy skirts, what they used to call them in Europe
Yeah.
back in
Beautiful.
the olden days.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was invited into many, many homes.
So
and
gracious, yeah. You
they're
know, and they're
very
simple
gracious.
people. They're just like, it's not that they're poor.
No,
They just don't have a lot of junk.
exactly.
They know what's real, you know. They know, okay, this is what I need. We don't need that. We
Right,
need,
right,
you know,
right.
so they have everything they need. You know, it's awesome.
I fell in love with a drink they made, cafe con leche.
Ah, sí que es rico.
Ah, I
Yeah.
could just drink that by the gallons.
Yeah, that's good stuff for sure.
Everybody made that.
So when you jumped ship, were
Mm-hmm.
you pretty much doing this on your own, traveling on your own?
I was. I met up with a couple along the way, different, American.
Oh, that's so cute.
people,
that's so
but,
sweet.
Yeah.
They must have, the locals must have seen you coming, and they go, look, we have a visitor from up north.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
look at that!
maybe.
They probably were really happy to see you. It's probably
A
really
lot of
cute.
them. Yes. A lot
Yeah.
of people. Yeah, I stayed in Acapulco for a few days.
Oh yes, Acapulco. Even though now it's so touristy, but it is a beautiful area.
Yeah, they didn't want me there because I was a hippie.
Ah, really? That's
Oh, yeah.
interesting.
They
Huh.
picked me up. The federales picked me up at
Oh my
a little
God,
cafe,
those jerks.
and they said that I had some marijuana on me, mota.
But you didn't.
I didn't.
Of course not.
But they took me to the police station. Fortunately for me, I had met the police chief a few days before that because I had befriended a young man there, Antonio, and his father was the Supreme Court justice person there, and he was assassinated while we were there. Yeah,
The father or the son?
the father, the Supreme Court justice, was assassinated.
It's so intense politics. I swear to God.
Ooh.
It's bad. Yeah.
So at his funeral, there were a lot of official type people, and they had like this kind of buffet dinner after the funeral, and I was sitting right next to the chief of police, and so we were talking and chatting, and and it was a friendly chat. So that evening, when they hauled me in for having marijuana, which I didn't, he explained to me. He said, "I like you," and he said, "I don't want you to go to jail." He goes, "I'm buying you a bus ticket to Mexico City," and they shipped me off to Mexico City. And I didn't mind that. I had
Yeah.
planned on traveling further.
Free bus ticket.
Free bus ticket, I'll take it,
It's cool. You don't want me. That's a great attitude.
Yeah,
That's the way to go when you're traveling, man. I mean,
I
in
didn't
a
wanna
foreign country.
argue.
No, you don't want to argue.
yeah.
Yeah, crossing the borders into Mexico back in those days was tough
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you knew they were going to bribe you. When I was traveling with my son, I knew, well, first of all, I knew I was at an advantage being a mom with a child. They love that.
Right. Okay.
So, and then I would carry my guitar with me.
Ah,
So I had a guitar with me, and before I crossed the border from Guatemala into Mexico, one time I bought a bottle of wine.
okay.
So that when I crossed the border, they were holding me up. But then while they were holding me up, I took my guitar out and I started singing these Spanish romantic songs, and they just fell in love with me.
Oh, perfect.
And then I gave the chief a bottle of wine, and that was even more. And then just immediately after I finished singing, give her a ride to town. You're fine. They were just like the sweetest people. But
That's great.
but
That's
it
great.
it was really nice. It was funny, man. It was so funny. But you're right. I mean, it was a tough time too. It's scary sometimes
Yeah, yeah,
because of the federales, because of the police, the
definitely.
border police that they had. Even like if you were in DF, the Mexico City, and if you had foreign plates, they would stop you, which they did stop us.
Yeah,
Because we had plates from Texas, and what they wanted was a bribe.
sure.
So
Yeah,
you would give them a bribe so they would leave you alone. Because if you didn't, they would haul you in.
yeah,
Some
yeah.
people refused to give bribes. They would get hauled in and they would be there all day until because there was no crime, You're just
Right.
driving and you're a tourist. But yeah,
Oh boy.
that's amazing. That's really cool. So you were there for a whole year.
Well, yeah, I
You must.
stayed
Did you ever
there.
make it to? Did you ever make it up to the desert, to the peyote
No,
land? You never made it.
I
You didn't know
never.
about it probably in those
Well,
days.
we kind of knew because you hear things along
Mm.
in your travels from other Americans and people that are traveling, but no, I never made it up there. I stuck going south, and then
You went to Palenque and all those places there.
I did go to Palenque. I wanted to go there. I had never tried mushrooms. I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Um, in Mexico City, I met some young people that lived in an area called Pedregal,
Mhm. Okay.
and it's kind of like you know, a rich area.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they have their own police force inside the
That's
gates.
how wealthy they are.
That's
yeah.
how
When
wealthy
they have
they
your
are.
own police force. Yeah.
But I met a couple of kids, and they were talking. They wanted to go to Palenque. They wanted to have mushrooms, and so I went along.
You see, kind of goes together when you're in Mexico. The ruins and hallucinogenics, they kind of go hand in hand. But especially in those days, today not so much.
Yeah,
But in those days, you wanted to be in an altered state to experience these ancient
yeah, some
ruins.
stuff. Yeah,
Because it was just amazing, and be there at night if you had the opportunity to
Yeah.
camp out by the ruins at night. In those days, which you could.
you could, and we
You
did.
can't now.
Yeah, you can't.
No,
No,
can't do that now.
the steps to the pyramids were really tiny, and
Yes,
that was
very
scary
dangerous. Yeah,
for me. Uh,
for me too.
I have large feet.
I have small feet, and it's still scary
Mm-hmm.
because they're really inclined too.
We kind of go up sideways, so.
Yeah, or sit down and just on your butt climb up.
But yeah, so I had a great time there in Palenque. We did do the mushrooms. I felt like I was flying. I understood Spanish, and I didn't, but for some reason I did when I was on the mushrooms. I knew what people were saying.
It just makes your brain smarter. It's like
Something.
it does
My
something.
God.
Yeah, really. Wow. So like if you were there a whole year, you learned Spanish, I'm sure, and you understood the culture by that time.
Oh, I did.
So did that experience, do you feel that experience created a big change in you versus if you had never gone abroad?
Oh, absolutely.
Why do you think? Do you think it's important for Americans to have those kinds of experiences?
Oh, traveling? I
Yeah.
mean, it's a complete education.
To a third world country, something that's
Yes.
completely different from the States?
Yes, yes.
Why do you think that?
Oh, it's the knowledge of other people, of other cultures, of just a life that you've never known.
Mm-hmm.
That is, well, it's empowering in a way. I
Why?
don't
Why
know.
is it empowering? Why do you think?
Because you're learning so much.
I
For
see.
me, you're just learning
Yeah.
all kinds of different ways of life, and
Uh-huh.
of course you think about them, and that road of thought kind of goes off, and so you're have a lot of different thoughts, a lot
Yeah.
of things that you could do, or where you want to go, or what you want to do in life, or I don't know.
Interesting.
Hmm.
It kind of like maybe opens up more windows in your brain.
Yeah.
It kind of like
Like a really good LSD
see things from a.
trip.
I love that.
You-
And those are rare, dude.
Yeah.
Because LSD can take you to the dark,
Oh,
corners of your subconscious.
all mine were good.
Oh, that's
Anyway.
that's great. No, that's great. What I liked best about it was that I always felt like I was getting a full body massage when I.
Really?
LSD.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I love that about it.
Yeah.
It's like
My mind just felt big and
it was
expansive.
amazing.
And,
Then flowers dancing, and waving. Yeah. But what I think also it's just learning a second language too.
and learning a second
makes
language.
you smarter, dude.
Mhm.
Don't you think? Did
Oh,
your
yeah.
did your IQ go up like 20 points?
felt like it.
Really?
And to be able to communicate, with people, and they appreciated the fact that
Yeah.
here's this white girl, and
Traveling by
traveling
herself.
by herself, and she can speak our language. This is great.
That's
And,
very cool.
Especially women and their daughters, the young girls, they love
Yeah.
talking.
Wanted to touch your hair.
Oh,
Comb your
yeah.
hair.
Wanted to
Can we
touch my
comb your hair?
hair.
You're so blonde.
So it was,
You
yeah.
were like, yeah, man, comb my hair.
But I definitely can't speak Spanish now. It's
Oh, well, it's been years, dude.
55.
Dude, it's been like that was a completely different lifetime.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
I mean, just the fact that you did it is admirable, and the fact that you did it for so long on your
Yeah,
own,
yeah.
as a woman on her own, a white girl, blonde. On top of that, traveling by herself in Mexico is incredible. It's very, very fantastic. Um, I'm thinking that, what was your experience with the Mexican men? Because they would see this beautiful blonde woman walking towards them, and in Latin America, in those days, they had the tendency of thinking that American women were loose.
Yes,
Remember that?
I do.
That we were easy. Well, I'm not an American woman. I consider myself a mix.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, they would see a blonde, beautiful lady, and they would think that she was easy.
They
And
did.
they kind of still think that. But today
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Sex is not a big deal today. They don't really think about it in that way anymore, I don't think.
I don't
But
think they do.
I don't think they do either.
I didn't.
Actually.
I was lucky. I only
You
had
didn't have any
one really bad
problems.
experience,
Yeah.
and that was it.
That's great. Yeah.
Otherwise, especially the farmers, the further I
Oh, they were
traveled,
so sweet.
they're so sweet.
They're so sweet, yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Very kind people, yeah.
Really kind people and humble, and just they do their job. They get up, they do their work. It's a simple life, as you said earlier, and
They
I
give you the
really
best food that
appreciated
they
that.
have. Like I remember one time I stopped at
Best
this.
food.
They're so sweet. We stopped at this was in the 77. Where the Pan American Highway was still very, low key.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't find restaurants like you do now. It was like side food places, side road places.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped at one, and we hadn't eaten, and we were starving. And I would love some chicken. She goes, well, we do have chicken, but we only have one piece left, and it's my husband's favorite.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh no, that's okay. I'll just have some eggs or something. No, I'm gonna give you my husband's favorite piece of chicken.
Oh wow.
And you know what part of the chicken it was?
Oh no.
The butt.
Oh, the part that went over the fence last. They say.
And I was like, I wasn't used to eating the butt, but I ate it, because
Yeah.
it was just so sweet of her. Whatever the intention, it was still sweet. That they had, and I was happy that they had food that I would want to eat.
Right.
So yeah, Mexico's really nice.
It is. I really enjoyed my time, and like you say, just learning another language. That was really wonderful, and I loved it. Being able to talk to people.
Yeah.
Learning about them.
Yeah, and being there a year isn't plenty of time to get a good grasp of a
Oh, yeah.
language, to a point where at least you can have conversations.
converse with
you
them.
talk about just general stuff. It's cool. Yeah. Somebody left her. Okay, we'll be right back.